welcome our superhero sponsor, Tech Data, and the amazing superhero presenter, Austin Kelly, Partner Development Manager, Chris Girardini, CEO of Turnkey Technologies, Sam Sarsam, Client Solutions Manager, Microsoft Dynamics 365, and Doug Fiore, Senior Manager, Microsoft Dynamics. Please stick around after their session for a live Q&A.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for this presentation on Selling with Tech Data, Microsoft and CSP. Special thanks to Dynamics Con for hosting this wonderful event, and we're really excited at Tech Data to be participating in this year's Dynamics Con as a Platinum partner. So just a quick agenda of what we're going to be talking about today. First, I'm going to be presenting a portion on indirect versus direct. My name is Sam Sarsam. I'm a PDM with Tech Data, working in the Microsoft Cloud, obviously, on Dynamics. The second portion will be handled Why Tech Data, and that's going to be hosted by Doug Fiore, who heads up the Dynamics practice here at Tech Data. And then we're going to move on to my colleague, Austin Kelly, who handles the Eastern US in PDM responsibilities for Dynamics and Tech Data. And he's going to be doing an interview with one of our SIs, Turnkey Technologies, and talk a little bit about the experience they've had so far and what's working, what's not, etc. So let's dive right in. The Biz Apps opportunity. This is why we're all here, folks. It's a large opportunity, 16.8 billion total, split down the middle almost, 8.8 billion for CRM, 8 billion for ERP. This is just the SMB portion. So there's a big pie to be sliced up, and I think there's plenty to go around for everyone. Let's talk about how we're going to get you your slice. I'd like to talk a little bit before we really dive in and show you Microsoft's thinking. This is their FY21 business objectives around CSP. And if you look, you might see how some of these things relate to you. I've highlighted a few things. On the left-hand side, you've got migrate. This is key for our legacy partners out there. You can see I highlighted in red onboard legacy partners to CSP. This is a key motion, and I think the sooner you jump on this bandwagon, the sooner you're going to realize those benefits. Because if your clients have not already been asking you about the cloud, they will be, and I'm sure plenty have already been bringing it up. You want to be prepared and have the ability to transition them to the cloud and keep them within your client base when that happens. And then in the middle, you see land customers, cloud customers, build and grow the CSP channel. That's their focus. We are the indirect provider that helps drive that business in the CSP channel. And working with an indirect provider like Tech Data is really going to get you up and running in exponential time. And then on the right, expand the existing customer base. So this is really the greenfield opportunity. When you have this gigantic modern workplace account base out there, what's the best way to grow that number? And when you want the modern workplace clients to increase their spend, but they still have the same number of clients or same number of users, the obvious choice is Dynamics. And that's where we're heading with this. They add Dynamics to their environment. They become a stickier customer, a more long-term customer, and a happier one. So that's the initiative for Dynamics. And let's tell you how we can line up with those initiatives. The Cloud Solution Provider Program, we're all familiar with it. For the legacy partners out there that have not participated in CSP, now's the best time to jump in, and we're going to help you with that. But it's basically consolidating a licensing program built around the Microsoft Cloud, but they're also starting to incorporate other portions of Microsoft licensing. You know, in the past, when you talk about Azure, when you talk about Office 365, there are lots of licensing choices. CSP brings it all together, and they're looping in more and more all the time, and it's becoming a nice one-stop shop. And participating in this program is going to be a key to success for modern workplace partners and Dynamics partners. So you've got two choices. When you jump on the CSP bandwagon, you can go the indirect route or the direct route. And I'm here today to expound on the benefits of the indirect route. Going with Tech Data, you're going to have a lot of things already automated and in place for you. We have the platform, we have the support, we have the fastest time to market, and you're going to also have access to credit, training, we have support in marketing, lots of great resources. And by the way, if you're interested in selling Azure, O365, other products, we have specialists in every one of those areas that's going to help you out. Now, if you go the direct route, you're going to be on your own when it comes to setting up that infrastructure. It requires an investment in billing, provisioning system, first level support. And by the way, that's a $15,000 minimum number. You're not going to be required to do that if you come over to the indirect model. So the benefits are many. Your time to profitability is greatly shortened when you go the indirect path because you don't have to set up all that infrastructure, because you don't have to manage all of that billing, because you don't have to have that platform in place and have the support services. 4 times faster to profitability when you go the indirect route. Now, these are stretch goals, and 150% growth might seem like pie in the sky, but I happen to think these numbers are attainable. Let's go for that stretch number. How do you do that? By reaching more clients, by interacting with the modern workplace community and getting the word out that they all have a tremendous ERP and CRM solution that they can share with their clients. So when people come to them asking for a CRM, don't say, I don't sell that. Say, yes, I do sell that. And let's talk about Dynamics. So we put together a few common objections when you're talking about direct versus indirect. And let's take it from the top up here in the upper left-hand corner. But I make so much more margin as a direct CS. Well, I would contend with that one. I would say the margins are not identical, but the difference is quite nominal, really. And if you get to our highest tier, which is also extremely attainable, and it's a low bar, I think, for our top tier, you're going to be pretty close to price parity or right at it. Even on the first tier, when you first get in there, the margin difference is negligible. I'm talking like a couple percentage points. The government's making more on sales tax than the difference between those two. If I leave direct, I can never go back. Not true. You can go back. In fact, you can do both. You don't even have to leave direct. If you want the benefits that Tech Data brings to the table, going indirect, you can realize all of those benefits just by bringing over a few tenants. And by the way, I think you're going to grow that number. If you tiptoe into the pond, you're going to want to add more and more and more because there are many benefits. And the more MRR you bring over to Tech Data, the benefits grow along with that number. Small service deals aren't worth it to go indirect. Well, if they were only small service deals, that might be the case, but I think all deals are good. We run the gamut. We have massive installations, medium deals, and of course, there are many small deals. The modern workplace community is probably SMB focused. They have a lot of clients out there looking for a low-cost solution, and they don't need a long-term engagement. What I encourage our Dynamics partners to do, and they've done this, and this is working very well, create a quick start package. Whether you're talking about CRM or Business Central, create that quick start that kind of gets their feet wet. It gets some key functionality in place. It's very digestible. It's a number that they can understand and that they're okay with, and they're going to grow. They're going to come back to you every month, every year, wanting to add more capabilities. The sky's the limit once you get that foot in the door, and a quick start package, once you've developed that, we'll help you promote it, spread the word about the benefits of using your quick start package and help you grow that way. Our clients feel more comfortable dealing with a direct partner. Well, I don't know about you, but whenever I buy something from someone, I typically don't ask them where they sourced it. And I think a lot of clients out there are the same way. Whether you're buying Microsoft Modern Workplace or whether you're buying Dynamics through CSP, I don't think the end user really has any care in the world about where their product is sourced. It's still the same end product. What really counts is what your capabilities are. I'll lose my PDM if I move to indirect. Well, that one, again, is not true. In fact, we nominate Dynamics partners every year to be managed. So we create new managed partners by growing them and bringing them to that level where Microsoft wants to get more involved. By the way, you don't lose your PDM, you gain a PDM, because when you come over to Tech Data, you have an assigned PDM that's dedicated to you from Tech Data. You keep your Microsoft PDM, you've doubled your resources. So it's nothing but a net win. Direct status gives me respect and elite status with Microsoft. This is a great myth, because if you only knew the way Microsoft saw things from their end, a lot of people at Microsoft don't have any clue who the partners they work with are, where they're transacting, and they don't care. They just want you selling Microsoft. So as far as elite status with Microsoft or more respect from Microsoft, they don't have any care in the world about where you're transacting. In fact, they're pushing more business towards the indirect model because they can extend their reach that way, and we have more resources to bring to the table to make that a successful engagement. Indirect is for smaller partners. Not true. We run the gamut there as well. We have some of the biggest Dynamics names in the business currently on board, and plenty of medium and small ones. So across the board, there is no specific target demographic as far as the types of partners we do business with. We cover them all, and all in their own unique way that's going to work best for them. If indirect, we won't be eligible for awards with Microsoft. Well, that one's not true, and I don't need to go into too much detail other than to say, if you want to be Dynamics Partner of the Year, you're going to have just as much access to that award, whether you're going through Tech Data or Direct or anywhere else. We have to be direct to do ISV embed and other programs. Okay, so this one is a TBD, to be determined. We don't have an ISV embed program currently through CSP Indirect, but I have been told it's in the works. So if you're an ISV embed partner out there and you like what we're serving up today, keep in touch, keep our contact information, check in every once in a while. I see in the very short term this changing. Okay, and last but not least, it's a pain to onboard with an indirect. I haven't experienced this process with other indirects, but I can say it is about as easy as falling in the pool. If you want to come over to Tech Data, we have a whole team dedicated to making that onboarding process as smooth and easy as possible. We make you familiar with the tools, with the resources you have available, with the people that you're going to want to reach out to in different areas that you have access to, getting your credit established. It's all a very slick, smooth, and easy process. Moving on. So Satya, I love this quote because it puts the Dynamics world in the absolute bullseye. It is key to their future, driving CSP, driving the cloud. They know if they capture that biz apps market, that everything else comes along with. Modern workplace attach and cloud migration. So these are key levers. And if you look at the market opportunity on the left, 10% we have captured of the ERP and CRM revenue opportunity. Lots more to go. Modern workplace attach opportunity, less than 5%. This one really blows my mind because, like I said, because of the deep integration between Office 365, M365, and Dynamics, it's an obvious choice. If there's an SMB looking to add a CRM or an ERP, the choice is obvious. And when we're at 5%, that number is going to grow, I think, to a much larger number. And we need your help to make it happen. We need more SIs on board to enable our modern workplace community. And then on the on-premise side, over here, 25%, so far have gone to the cloud. I think that number is going to accelerate. Who knows if it's ever going to get to 100%, but I think it will. That's where things are going. And even if they never do get there, I think if you are one of those legacy partners, come have a chat with us. We want to make it as easy as possible to get up and running with CSP, understanding the MRR billing cycles and offering this option to your clients before someone else does. So the channel evolution, partner to partner motion, this is absolutely the secret sauce that's going to make this work. I know there might be a few people that are skeptical out there. There have been some false starts, I've been told, in the past with the P2P motion, but I can allay your concerns now. We have been doing this for over 2 years now at Tech Data. We've had tremendous success. The program is going beautifully, and we want you to participate. So Microsoft, obviously, they want to grow CSP, and they're putting the focus on their business managers. They're talking to the indirect providers. They want to grow the Dynamics community. And the way they're doing that is bringing more SIs to the indirect market and connecting those SIs with the modern workplace community through this P2P motion. So just another quick peek at the numbers and the potential. It is tremendous. 47% of customers need some type of business app solution. That's a huge number. Especially considering the number of Dynamics partner. It's not a huge number. You could probably fit everybody in one room if it was a conference room. The people that are qualified to deliver these solutions, when you're talking about billions in potential revenue, there's a lot of business to go around. 400,000 customers potential. And if you just look at CRM, 160,000 customers do not have any CRM solution. That's the greenfield opportunity. I'm sure many of you are aware, but 6.5 million users, that's a big number. And on the ERP side, 104,000 customers have no ERP, or they're just using some kind of accounting solution. We hear it every day. I have a client who has QuickBooks. They need an ERP. They need a real ERP. What should we do? Business Central is the obvious choice. The size of the opportunity is huge. And it's huge with Tech Data. The average large indirect provider has 3,000 partners. Okay, so Tech Data, I can tell you, our number is well north of that. Some are modern workplace, some are system integrators. We have a sea of providers who need assistance with their Dynamics opportunities. They want to share these service opportunities with the SIs that are going to enable them to sell Dynamics. The average number of customers in a modern workplace base is between 50 and 100. Let's just assume 75 halfway down the middle. The number of potential Dynamics decisions per year, per partner, between 5 and 7.5. Let's go on the low end of that. Let's just say it's 5. And let's just go on the low end of the partners, 3,000. 15,000 Dynamics decisions every year. We need you to help out with those. Typically, these partners get 3 inquiries per year just organically, okay? They're not even talking about Dynamics. We're promoting it daily and having them have those conversations. So that number is going to double, triple. The more webinars that we push out, the more our modern workplace team is having conversations with these people, the more that they're going to start selling Dynamics and work with our SI partners to deliver it. That's it for me today, folks. I'm going to hand things off now to Doug Fiore, and he's going to talk a little bit more about the benefits of working with Tech Data. Doug, over to you.
Thank you very much, Sam. Again, Sam, thank you very much. I'd like to just recognize the fact that, I know that the Dynamics in the indirect model is reasonably new. As Sam mentioned, that we've been at this here at Tech Data for about 2 years now. And as a result of that, we've worked with some very large and medium-sized and smaller Dynamics partners to help us understand what the Dynamics marketplace really needs from an indirect provider. And as a result of that, we've pulled together what we think is a pretty compelling value proposition for Dynamics partners to come and work with Tech Data. So I'd like to kind of walk you through that experience and what partners can expect from their relationship with Tech Data, some of the value that they get, and some of the expectations that are in place in order to attain some of that value. So I'm going to walk through what we call the D365 or Dynamics 365 partner experience, and it's a quick summary of what we're doing here at Tech Data for our Dynamics partners. So when we initially launched the program a little over 2 years ago, we decided what was really important for partners was to create really kind of a center of excellence, which is our way of pulling all the value that Tech Data is able to bring to partners and put it into one spot. Okay. So we see that, there's all of this, and I don't want to go into the details here. We can discuss this at another time, but this is really kind of a summary of a lot of the value that our Dynamics partners are receiving from the relationship with Tech Data. And if you look over on the lower left, we say the dedicated Dynamics 365 Partner Development Manager. That's the PDM that Sam was referencing. It's their responsibility in tandem with your existing PDM at Microsoft, or if you don't have a PDM at Microsoft, but it's this person's responsibility to help you navigate all of these resources that we're providing to our Dynamics partners. And it starts, we have human capital. We can help you with recruiting and other things. We have a relationship with 365 Talent Portal. They can help Dynamics partners locate Dynamics talent, either sales or delivery, or process management, or business process development, all of those things that are necessary for successful Dynamics implementations. We can help you identify talent if you need to leverage that. So we can provide pre-sales engineering experience if necessary to help you close deals and other things, potentially provide some demo support. So from a human capital perspective, we can complement your existing organization and provide value that you may not be able to get out of that Microsoft relationship. Additionally, we can work from a marketing perspective. We fund our partners with MDF. We give them opportunities to present various webinars and then also introduce them to partner opportunities, which I'll get into in just a minute. We've built a community now of Dynamics partners that's integrating and interfacing with our modern workplace partners. So, we can discuss a little bit about that in a couple of slides as well. And then enablement for those partners that aren't they're just embracing Dynamics. Maybe they've done one or two small Dynamics opportunities and they want to develop really kind of a Dynamics practice. We have tools to help those partners along the way and provide some value there as well. So I reference you Partner Development Manager, and I want to highlight that Sam, who just presented, is actually one of the partner development managers here at Tech Data. He's the one that is working with, or he's one of the people that is working with our Dynamics partners to make sure that they're getting all of the value that they possibly can out of this relationship with Tech Data. And the gentleman who's going to be talking with one of our partners, Austin Kelly, he's going to be talking after me. He is the other partner development manager within the US here in the Dynamics program. So these people are real. They're working with Dynamics partners every day, and they're providing all kinds of value. In addition to those two gentlemen, we also have three other people on the team beyond myself, and they're there to help in any other way, any other capacity to help you be successful. So if Sam is out on vacation, we have resources that are going to backfill for him and make sure that you're taken care of. We have SLAs to respond to any requests that our partners have. We have expertise in terms of Dynamics licensing. So we really have a Dynamics licensing desk. We can help you with order entry, anything in Microsoft Partner Center, all of those things we can provide to you and provide an extra layer of value that you may not be getting directly from the Microsoft relationship. So here's a brief overview of our different tiers of Dynamics partnership levels. If a Dynamics partner comes on board or we engage with someone for their first Dynamics deal, they would fall into potentially this tier one, and that is if they're doing $5,000 or less in MRR, they start to get decent front end margin. You do get access to your partner development manager, and then when the revenue moves kind of start moving left to right here, above that $5,000 a month in MRR, but less than 20, you get better margins. You're getting more access and more regular meetings with your PDMs. Now we get into MDF, and we're providing MDF to partners to allow them to go off and do some marketing and try to drive opportunities into their pipeline, okay? And then we also allow you to get engaged with our tech data partners, all of our other CSP partners, and we find ways to make sure that you're interacting with those partners so they can drive leads into your pipeline as well. And then the last level is if you're doing 20,000 or more per month in terms of Dynamics CSP with us, front-end margins go up. They're competitive with Microsoft margins. You've got scheduled weekly meetings now with PDMs. You get more MDF. We'll allow you to actually do a webinar through our in-house agency, which you can leverage that in order to reach out to new customers and drive new business into your pipeline. And these last two components here, I think, are very critical and are the ones that really catch the attention of a lot of our Dynamics SIs, and that is service opportunities. Sam mentioned the modern workplace organization or the modern workplace partners that we have. Tech Data has thousands of modern workplace partners that don't know how to do Dynamics, and they really don't want to learn how to do Dynamics. We're teaching them how to go off and have Dynamics discussions. So if you take thousands of those partners and they have tens of thousands of customers, and we train them to go off and have Dynamics discussions with their customers, they're bringing leads back to us, which we then funnel into our Dynamics partners. So we're driving business for our Dynamics partners in a way that really Microsoft can't, okay? So those service opportunities are critical, and they're really helping our Dynamics partners grow. And we'll hear about that when we talk to Chris here in just a few minutes. And then there's other component of it is what we call the D365 Ally program. And if you can become a strategic Dynamics partner in this third tier, we actually introduce you to one of our strategic modern workplace partners. We fund that relationship and have those two organizations go to market together with some funding from Tech Data in order to drive that marketing initiative and drive pipeline for both organizations. So there's more details about that we can share with you if you're interested, but that's really kind of the partnership levels and some of the value you get in each tier of the program. You know, we kind of look at it, and in addition, you know, like what we do notice is that, you know, there are partners that don't want to make that, there are many partners out there that don't want to make that full commitment, right? They don't want to make, say, that 20K a month to get into the program and start getting the benefits out of that tier 3. So we created the Dynamics Early Adoption Program, and with the requirements on the left, which we've lowered the bar significantly, you can start to get some of the value out of the relationships, maybe not at the full tier 3 level, but you start to get other benefits out of the relationship, even if you just have one tenant through Tech Data. By moving one tenant to Tech Data, you get access to that PDM. You immediately get access to that P2P network that we were describing when we're driving leads out of that modern workplace. We can get you spotlight webinars. We can get you tier 2 MDF funding. We can't get you the tier 3, but we can get you the tier 2. We can give you access to our solutions and services marketplace. You get dedicated marketing and enablement resources as well. You get access to our quarterly TD promotions, and you know, recurring attached partner services are things that you can start to leverage from those modern workplace relationships that we have. So when we kind of look at this and we say, okay, what's all the value of the Tech Data? You know, what's the pros to this type of, you know, relationship with Tech Data, indirect with Tech Data? And you've got a dedicated PDM, which again complements the PDM you have with Microsoft. You get to maintain all of your existing Microsoft resources through that PDM and the Microsoft channel. You get access to our partner-to-partner network. You get MDF funding. You get dedicated resources for Azure O365 and other parts of the Microsoft stack or Microsoft Cloud. And then here's the part too that, you know, it's costing many Microsoft Dynamics partners $15,000 a year that they have to pay to Microsoft in order to maintain support. If you don't want to pay that to Microsoft and work indirectly through Tech Data, you can save that $15,000 and actually get as good or better support through Tech Data. So if you do some calculations on that and say, yeah, maybe we're paying 1 or 2 points in margin, we're saving $15,000 a year in support. And on top of it, Tech Data is helping us drive business into our pipeline. It all adds up to be a complete win for your business. You can take advantage of the early adoption program, which we'll be phasing out here at the end of June. And then there's really no annual licensing revenue requirements. So it's a great opportunity to like kind of stick your toes in, kind of feel it out, see if it's for you. and really without any real risk. That said, I want to introduce you to the rest of the team. That's me on top there. I'm Doug Fiore. You heard Sam chat a little bit. Austin, who's going to talk with Chris here in just a minute, is over on the right. And then you've got Kara Hart, who's working on the team as well in the West. Connor Langan is working in the Central region. And we have one more person that's joining the team here in the next few weeks. That's also going to be helping Kara and Connor work on working with more Dynamics partners on the eastern side of the U.S. That said, I would like to hand it off to Austin and Chris, and they can chat a little bit about Chris's experience with the program.
Thanks, Doug. Thank you, Sam. Some great information you guys shared there. Thanks again for taking the time to be here with us today. My name is Austin Kelly. I'm one of the partner development managers here on the Dynamics 365 team. And I'm joined by Chris Gherardini of Turnkey Technologies, which is one of Tech Data's D365 P2P partners. Chris, how's it going?
Very good. How are you doing today, Austin?
Doing well. Thanks for being here. So if you could tell the audience a little bit about Turnkey Technologies for those who have never heard of you and what you guys are doing over there in Missouri.
Sure. Appreciate that. So Turnkey Technologies is a Dynamics focused partner. 98% of our revenue is from the Dynamics portfolio. And out of that mix, about 85% of it is ERP related. The balance is customer relationship management and cloud services from Microsoft. So business has been around for about 27 years now. Again, we're a full service provider, digging deep into analysis and solutioning and business process management, all the way through full implementations and full lifecycle support of the software. So Dynamics is the focus.
Great. So before you became a Tech Data partner, you were and still are a Microsoft Direct partner. So I guess what motivated you initially to become a direct partner with Microsoft to start?
Sure. So historically, we've been representing the Microsoft Dynamics on-premise applications for many, 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 many years. And so years ago, as the cloud message got stronger, Microsoft introduced the CSP program. And of course, we jumped on it even before the Microsoft organization fully understood the program. But that was it. It was a logical progression from us from the Dynamics on-prem to jump on the cloud bandwagon very early on. And we did become a direct CSP at that point in time. So
gotcha. So now that you're living sort of in that hybrid channel model, if you will, being direct and indirect, how have you been able to maintain the relationship with Microsoft and still benefit from, some of the value of the Tech Data program?
Sure. And I really don't think that the programs are compromising or they conflict with each other. So we've been a tier one direct, and we're managed by Microsoft, and as far as they're concerned, they're looking at all up revenue. And again, there's really no differentiation between that revenue that's hitting our dashboards. And as they look at year-over-year growth, customer adds, even incentives, there's really no compromising to the existing Microsoft relationship. In fact, I think as was mentioned earlier, my PDM, they really don't care where the revenue comes from, frankly. So.
Right. And I know Doug mentioned that you don't lose benefits if you're direct or indirect either. So what was it about the Tech Data Dynamics program that encouraged you to move a portion of your business indirectly to Tech Data?
Sure. So, I've been partnering is a big deal for Turnkey. We like to attach to people that don't do what we do and can use our help. And as I researched and looked at big distributors, Tech Data was unique. And again, you offered a program where frankly, you didn't put an overhead in there between the partner-to-partner relationship. So the partner-to-partner opportunity is what really excited me about the program, unlike competitors out there where you make introductions, you foster the relationship, and you really don't stand in the middle, and you allow us to transact, meaning Turnkey doing services, the partner that's doing the licensing, and it's a beautiful situation. But that was the primary. But beyond that, the services. You mentioned the support. We do pay the fee. We do have a program with Microsoft, but we've been incrementally taking advantage of more of the services with the Tech Data offers, and as we onboard our CSP customers there. So, and there's some advantages. We use a fee-based self-service portal, and again, we lose that fee as we move some of those customers to Tech Data. So there's a lot of different values there that we saw, but the P2P was what was a big driver for me.
Gotcha. Yeah. So speaking of sort of the services and the P2P process, being a PDM, we're all about generating leads for our services partners. And not too long ago, we handed a services lead to you. Could you just talk a little bit about that process and sort of how the T's and C's went with you and the Modern Workplace partner?
Sure. And so, we're complementary. And again, we're looking to help complement the Modern Workplace partner as well if we see something that's in their wheelhouse. But the way the engagements have gone for the number of introductions made is again, we collaborate, we talk about roles, how we're going to engage, and then typically we're setting up joint calls with the customers and digging in and completing our discovery processes, and then formulating recommendations, even doing presentations. So it's really a co-sell effort is the way I would describe it as well. We lead the co-sell on the Dynamics portion, but it is a partner type of presentation. And to that point, again, we move into transactions and agreements, and there's a revenue share opportunity from the services to the partner. Some want to subcontract us, some want us to deal direct. But it's been a very easy situation to work with, and every relationship has been very strong for us.
Great. So even though you're giving up a small piece of that front end margin working indirectly, would you say that the value of working with Tech Data has offset that so far?
Honestly, I don't really feel like I've given up any margin, frankly, guys. I guess, maybe we're lucky that we do enough volume with you, but to that point, I don't really feel like there's any negatives and there's been any loss of revenue, because the opportunities being provided with the P2P program and some of the other services, again, it neutralizes if there is any cost. But frankly, I don't think we're losing any money on being an indirect provider with Tech Data. So I'm very positive about it.
Noting that right now. For future reference. So by partnering with Tech Data, do you feel like we're going to help you grow your business, moving forward?
Absolutely. I have no lack of confidence in year over year, and I'm looking at 3 to 5 years. I want to be a Tech Data go-to. I want to be one of your rock stars that when you introduce me to a partner, the partner comes back and thanks you because I helped change their business and help put revenue in their pocket, which we know it'll end up in your pocket. So yes, I am absolutely bullish of the long-term relationship with the organization that we're building and with the partnership that we've created thus far. So
awesome. Well, thanks again, Chris, for taking the time. That's going to wrap up our presentation and the Q&A portion. Hope everybody enjoyed. Thanks again to DynamicsCon. Thank you again, Chris, from Turnkey Technologies. So now we're going to move to the Q&A section or portion of this presentation. So if you haven't put your questions in the chat yet, hit us with whatever you got. Thanks. All righty. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Happy Friday Eve. We've got the band back together for the Q&A portion of this presentation. So if your questions weren't answered during the presentation, feel free to post those in the chat now, and we'll be sure to get to them. So with that being said, we'll start directly from the top. And first question is, what are the margin differences between indirect and direct selling? So if Sam, do you want to jump on that?
I'll take that one. Okay. So as Chris alluded to in the interview portion, the margins are negligible. We do have a tiered system where it steps up. And I think I might have addressed this during my portion of the presentation. So possibly that question came in before that. But on the lowest tier to the highest tier that you can achieve, there's only a couple percentage points difference. And on the highest tier, it's pretty much parity with what you have direct. So very little, if any, difference. And we'll be happy to compare any specific SKUs if you ever want to get in touch with us, and maybe you're something, an area that you're focused on, and we can take a closer look at that so you can get a very precise understanding of what your margins would be.
Perfect. Next question, again for you, Sam. Where did you find all of the opportunity metrics and data points that you shared during your presentation?
Great question. And that all came directly from Microsoft. I'd like to take credit for all of that material, but I actually plagiarized almost all of it from our Microsoft BDM. I won't name any names, but great guy, and I'm sure a lot of you know him. And he co-hosted a presentation with us on the same topic. So I used his slides to put our presentation together today on that portion.
Perfect. And this one is just more of a comment. So this seems really difficult to trust. It feels like I'd be sold one thing, but would constantly have the screws turned to make it harder to run my practice, or have to run it in a way I don't want to take it. My biggest fear would be having to work under someone else's idea of what success means. And I can comment on that one. So, we want to work with you. However you work best is how we want to work with you. So if you're not comfortable participating in opportunities, let us know. We will be able to partner you with the right modern workplace partner so that you're going to be most successful. So our program isn't one way. It can be varied depending on what your needs are.
Yeah.
I'd like to add something. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Doug.
No, Austin, thank you. Yeah, to your point, Austin, there are no formalized T's and C's. When we make an introduction between a Dynamics partner and a modern workplace partner, we allow those two organizations to find terms and conditions that work for them. So we're not boxing anyone in and saying this is how it has to be. We want to facilitate relationships. We want to make sure that end users are happy. We want to make sure that everyone involved in the program is winning one way or another. So we don't really try to force our vision into a relationship or a partnership. We allow those partners to work together. And Chris, maybe I know you've had an experience or two there. So
Sure.
I don't know, maybe you could chime in and share your experience.
So, the flexibility in partnering is imperative. And again, everybody's different on how they want somebody else to interact with our customers. So there's no question that, the partner introducing owns the relationship, and there's respect that goes with that, certainly from my organization to partners that we were introduced to. But even some customers or some partners will say, deal directly with my customer, and there's a backside gratuity, if you want to call it that. And some people want us to come in as a tier 2 below them and just be part of their team because it's a larger project. And so that flexibility has to be there. And I think we're supporting that. And certainly Tech Data is not, dictating how that should work either. So there's a lot of options.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add one thing. I think it's really important to understand what an indirect provider is. That might not be crystal clear to everyone. We're not a reseller. Tech Data, in our long and storied history, has never sold directly to a client. I know there are other indirect providers out there who have portions of their business where they do actually sell direct, but it's absolutely, a baseline core value of Tech Data never to sell directly to any clients. So you're the boss, and you're driving however you want to run your business.
Absolutely.
Great. So we still got 10 or 15 minutes left. If anybody has any questions, feel free to post them in the chat now. While we're waiting, I just want to add, and this isn't to brag or anything. This is more sort of a heads up. So recently, we've onboarded a handful of partners that were previously direct, and the reason for that is there's been a lot of talk about Microsoft forcing direct CSP partners indirect, and the reason for that is because Microsoft is requiring direct partners to have a minimum of $300,000 in annual CSP, which if you calculate it to monthly, it's $25,000 monthly. So if you're a direct partner out there and you're not meeting those annual requirements, Microsoft will ultimately force you to work indirectly.
Yeah, that's a great call out, Austin. Is that I think that Microsoft to that point is that they're very interested in finding the mid-sized partners, finding a home for them, and this is something that is coming. If you haven't had discussions with Microsoft yet, they're probably going to start the discussions very soon. To Austin's point, we've onboarded a number of partners who have just learned from Microsoft they can't participate with Microsoft directly any longer. So if you start having those discussions with Microsoft, we would be happy to chat with you and understand how we can, get you involved in the program and add value to your business.
It's a great ad. It looks like we don't have any more questions at this time. Sam, Doug, Chris, you have any comments?
I'd just like to add that if anyone has, not considered indirect, I think I said this during my portion, we really don't look at it as a complete shift for your business. You're keeping all the same resources. It's more just another layer of support. So when you don't know who to call and you call whoever you typically reach out to at Microsoft, and maybe they don't have the answers immediately, now I'm here, or Austin, or whomever you're working with at Tech Data. So you're keeping everything you have, you're adding resources, and the margins are the same. So we feel like it all adds up to a huge bonus and a better way of doing business for just about any Dynamics reseller out there.
Okay.
Can I add a comment, guys?
Yeah, go for it, Chris. I was just about to ask you to comment.
Yeah, just to substantiate what Doug said, I've been around the Microsoft people for 30 years now, and he's right. They want fewer, larger partners. That's it. And they've announced it years ago. If you weren't in those events, they said, hey, today we have 2,000 partners. Next year, we're going to have this many. And that's what's happening. So it's just a matter of time. As Doug said, the thresholds or the bars keep going up, but they don't want to manage the smaller relationships. And again, Tech Data is a great place to do it. And so, is it better to be earlier in and get established in there? Again, there's the encouragement too, is these things are coming, and there's not much you can do about it. So jump on the bandwagon.
To that point, Chris, it would, it feels as if, we understand that other partners are going to have to make the decision that you just made, right? So I'd be interested to understand from your perspective why you chose Tech Data. You had other options, right?
Sure.
But you did choose Tech Data.
Sure. And I think, as I said in the presentation, I evaluated all the big guys, and, I was looking for that partner to partner relationship without the overhead. And that really was the defining element, is not, where if you've got 4 layers between the partner and the end consumer, it's too much. And I think that the fostering relationships, what you're doing is very pragmatic. And again, it allows us to operate and do business the way we want to do business. In the end, you're the recipient of the licensing transaction. So everybody wins. And I think it was the attitude to that point. And you guys are a successful firm. We know Microsoft is encouraging you to continue to develop your practice. So it was pretty obvious for me after the research. And like I said, I'm not going to name any names of the other people I talked to, but we did vet about 4 or 5 other major distributors. So,
yeah. Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Great. We give it 10 or 15 more seconds for any last minute questions anybody might have.
I'll confirm it's easy to do business. That's the other thing. So my staff is, as you said, we transferred some direct customers over to Tech Data. That was pretty easy. And then, as we said, we're lighting up all the new transactions. My service teams, it's easy. It is very easy. So just to punctuate that, the billing's easy, the light up's easy, the provisioning's easy. So again, I think that you're going to find that there's ample support to get off the ground. And like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, it's a great place to start, because there's lots of people that want to help you be successful. So keep that in mind. And this is a long game. This is not a 12-month thought. There's momentum building behind the Dynamics 365 applications. If you don't feel it, you should be participating in it, because I'll guarantee you there's not enough partners out there to do all the transactions that need to be done either. So if you're not in it today, keep it in mind.
That's a great point, Chris. I mean, we've actually been very surprised. Even people at Microsoft have been very surprised at how Dynamics has actually taken off in the last year. I think that going into this work from home pandemic thing, people are a little concerned about how the Dynamics portfolio is going to perform, and it's actually exceeded all expectations and is growing very quickly, given the current circumstances. So Microsoft is pleased. We're all pleased. I'm sure, Chris, you're very pleased by all of that.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of opportunity here in the Dynamics space. And we have, as we've said earlier, we have enablement we have enablement solutions as well, and tools. So if you're sticking your toe just into Dynamics initially, we can help you and educate you on how to go pursue opportunities and go close some deals and go deliver some solutions as well.
Perfect. All righty. Well, there are no other questions in the chat. So with that, again, thank you everybody for taking the time to be here. If you have any questions, we will be in our booth after this presentation. You can shoot us an email. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. We'd love to connect. So with that, hope everybody has a great rest of their day, a great weekend. Take care.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye.